Well, hello, good evening and welcome. Welcome to Rangers Radio. Got myself tonight, upstairs on the panel, is the one and only Bridgeman, and our star man is back. Evening,
How you doing? How you doing, upstairs, Bridgeman? It's good to be back.
Can I say a big good evening to you two guys? Huge good evening to the guys in the lobby and to all the Rangers fans listening in all over the world. Huge victory for us. Keep it going for the Rangers. Get in there. Good evening and welcome to Rangers Radio.
Oh, Stardog sponsored, I think, with tunes tonight, ain't you?
Aye. That's the way it is, upstairs. But it's been a good weekend, hasn't it, football-wise?
It was an entertaining game. I mean, to be fair, once again, at least in United had a go. I didn't think they were great, Stardog. I did think they looked like a team that had been promoted.
Yeah. I mean, Dundee United's probably going to learn the hard way, Oxford, this year. You know, they're a winning team. They're a team that won a lot of games in the Championship. And to be fair, they didn't exactly sit back and try and soak up the pressure. You know, they tried to have a go when they could. You know, and they get caught. They get caught, obviously, for the first goal as well. You know, they just let Ryan Kent kind of run after them as if it didn't matter. And that's what Ryan Kent's doing to teams now this time of season. You know, he's punishing teams with goals, and that's what we want to see for Ryan.
Right, get yourself in mute. We're going to have a view from the bridge.
Well, a view from a bridge. And what can I say? I thought the game was. I thought it was a good game for Rangers. I thought we played very well. Can I speak about first of all the goalkeeper? The goalkeeper had a real good game, with the exception of it got beat 3 times or was close to getting beat 3 times. The woodwork saved us, and he managed to stick a foot out another one. So I thought there was 3 chances that they created. And they unfortunately for them, they never got it. Fortunately for us, it was hitting woodwork, hitting off the keeper, and the keeper stuck out a foot and guided one into the side net. I thought that our back four, once again, superb, absolutely brilliant. Every one of them, I thought they were smashing. They were getting a bit of hassle from, particularly that boy Pollitt, and I thought he was a dirty swine. Really, that's my honest opinion. I'm sorry about my language. I thought he was a very dirty player and could have been easily booked. And he would have been booked. If he could have booked once, he would have got booked twice for sure. But eventually, it did get booked, and that should have been.
I had it in good authority, mate, that Mr. Clancy forgot to take his red card out with him.
I'll tell you what, and I'm not being okay. I'll just go through the team. The midfield, I thought once again showed their mettle. Whenever Dundee United managed to get on top of us a wee bit, they fought back, and between them, they managed to get us back up the park, which was great. And the goals we scored were just tremendous goals. I thought they were super goals. Very happy with them. Very, very happy. I thought for the short time he was on the park, I thought my man of the match would have been Arfield.
I
thought he had a fantastic game when he came on. I thought between, I was overall for man of the match, I'm stuck between Ryan Kent for his involvement in the scoring the first goal and involvement in others. But I have to take my hat off and give plenty of praise to Stephen Davis. My goodness gracious. There you go. Just superb. What a great player. So for the Rangers, a great result. Again, another clean sheet. So that's a record broken of some description, I'm sure. 117 years record or something. So I'm really delighted with that. Really delighted we scored 4 goals. Wanted more. But my 1-0 prediction was miles out by the look of it. And my goodness.
Did anybody predict 4-0, Bridge?
I think there was a couple. Did you know to go for 4?
Thank you. I just.
But no, seriously, it was a marvellous performance by our team. Mm-hmm. I have to say, Dundee United, hackers, cluggers, you name it. And how come that boy, he ended up lying down there in a hole in his leg and never even got a free kick? I'm sorry. I just cannot believe that anybody can see anything else when they see the name Clancy, whether they can turn in and say anything other than cheat. That man is an out-and-out cheat. The trouble is, he only seems to cheat with the Rangers. That's what happens.
Well, I'm sure that's the big talking point of the match, which is a bit strange, Stardog, when you win 4-0, but it was a major talking point, wasn't it?
Aye, Oxford, I mean, it's a talking point in that, but for me, you know, if you take the foul out it and, you know, the referee, I mean, how, to put it into perspective a wee bit, Oxshire, we don't know this boy personally. We don't know if there's any malice behind it or any intent. It could have just been sheer accident, but that doesn't matter. It's still a red card at the end of the day, whether it's intentional, whether it's an accident. It's dangerous play. He's tried to swipe at the ball, he's missed it, and he's kicked Alfredo Morelos in the knee. Alfredo Morelos has taken a wee minute to kind of realise, and then I think the pain set in. I mean, it looked horrible, it looked horrific. But for me, the evidence is in the wound in his leg. Do you know what I mean? Clearly something's happened. So for him to not even award a card for that, mate, for me it was absolutely disgusting. When you look at what Barisic was carded for earlier on in the game, he'd actually won the ball, in my opinion. So I don't understand his theory behind his yellow cards or his red cards or whatever. Look, they clocked us a few times, but for me there was so many more positives in the game for Rangers than just getting fouled and things like that. You know, we also had 4 injuries, and I thought the manager, his substitutes to come on, and Scott Arfield, like Bridgeman was saying, was absolutely superb. I seen a different side to Alfredo Morelos when he come back. When he come in, he was actually tracking back and taking the ball off people, and then putting Rangers in the front foot and going forward and things like that. Ryan Kent's just so clever in the ball, and he knows what he wants to do as soon as he picks the ball up. He's just deadly in and about the box now for Rangers. So a lot of positives, but for me, Oxshire, the main positive for me is James Tavernier. James Tavernier was in the box for the first 3 goals in that game, and he could have easily got all 3 himself if the first player had missed out in that. James Tavernier was ultimately playing as a third striker for us that weekend there. Everything good Rangers done came through James Tavernier or Ryan Kent. So for me, my 2 men in the match man in the match would have been Ryan Kent and James Tavernier, 100%. I thought Tav was superb. The grunny covers, the you know, everything's just, mate. It was in the box for absolutely everything at the weekend. No. I thought Tav was superb at the weekend, mate. I really do.
With no failures at the weekend. For me, the best football player in our team on Saturday on the piece was Stephen Davis. There was flashes of great play by Hadji. I mean, it's a lovely pass for Ryan Kent for the first goal. Kent himself, the shimmy and the goal. Arfield showed great appetite. Roof, a centre forward's finish, and should have had another one in my opinion. He showed enough. He showed enough. So there was a lot of pluses.
Yeah.
I think I'm in your camp with the tackle. I don't even know if the boy meant it. Only he'll know that. But it's still a red card.
Yep. I think the positive I taken for Roof Oxshire was when Morelos come on, Roof became a sort of number 10. And there was a couple of times, you know, just wee cheeky balls through the defence, and Morelos had passed it out to Kent, and I don't know how Kent, he just never got the connection with the ball, didn't he? He basically missed an open net, but, you know, it was really, really unlucky. And then I think there was another pass that he'd just shimmied by the defender and just placed it through perfectly for Hadji, and Hadji just a shot, and the keeper stopped that as well. So, you know, we were making chances in and round about the box, but for me, it's the players that are getting into the box. For the 4th goal, I think if that's a Brandon Barker or even Morelos or Ryan Kent, when Hadji picks up that ball, for what I must say was a beautiful pass for Kent, the way he's just spun the defender in the midfield and passed it over to the right-hand side, and Hadji's got the length of the pitch to run. But if that's a faster player, they're going on probably to finish that themselves. But Hadji doesn't have that kind of legs, and for Scott Arfield to break his legs to get up there and make himself available for him and put the ball in the back of the net, it's teamwork, mate, to the next level, and that's what I love to see for Rangers. There's goals oil that Rangers team this year. Every game there's a different scorer. I think there's only been one game against St Mirren where we've had a player that scored 2 goals in the same game. The goals are spread out all over the team now, and I like that. That's a good thing to have in your team. You're not relying on one person.
All right, so good performance, good result. Bridgeman, they opened up a wee bit and we just picked them off. Ultimately, I wasn't satisfied before because we always want more, but they took 4 at the start of the game, Bridge.
Well, yeah, you're right. They opened up a wee bit and tried to get something out of the game, and unfortunately, it was a forlorn task. I must admit, though, they were supposed to be harrying, but they were fouling, constantly fouling, just unbelievable amount of fouls that the referee never saw. was unsighted, shall we say? Let's call it that. He was unsighted deliberately.
But Bridgeman,
Yes,
see when
pal?
you're saying the referee never seen it.
No, I'm
Where
saying
are
there was.
but see when you're saying that, where are the officials as well though? Are you telling me that everybody missed that? Do you know what I mean? And then all you need to do is look at the boy's leg. You know somebody's hurt him.
Yes, so that in particular, but there was a whole load of other ones that were going on.
I know that.
They got away with dozens. They were just barging in and so on and so forth. Kent was lucky he never got injured. He was like a bulldozer that hit him, you know. Just all that nonsense that was going on. All over the park. Their midfield got a torrid time of it. However, we managed to get there and look, we proved there was only one team on the park that was worth anything, and that was us. Miles and miles and miles better than them. And if that team are supposed to be going to do something in this league, they need to do a lot better than they did against the Rangers. Let's put it that way, because Rangers, as we were said earlier, 4-0, I reckon it could have been 6 or 8. You know, and that's
in the league, mate. They'll move down the way, mate. They will move down the way. But
yeah,
we've got to score more goals. That's the make it easier for myself. Maybe get the third one before half time, because that takes even more out their legs, Stardom. And then again, becomes even easier for you, you know.
Ultimately, it makes them dread coming out to play the second half, because I think, you know, what's it going to be like when we all start, you know, the fitness starts dropping and things like that. You're going to get picked to pieces, but you know, at least for getting the goals, you know, 4-0 against Dundee United, for me, is not a bad result. But when you watch the game and you assess the game and you see the chances that we created, and, you know, clear-cut chances, the Hadji shot, you know, roofed a couple of decent chances. Alfredo Morelos last season, for me, when they cut that shot back to Kent Oxshire, for me, Alfredo Morelos is putting that in the roof of the net last year. But I thought he played brilliant when he came on. That's not a knock on Alfie at all. I thought he played brilliant when he came on. But I would definitely like us to be more clinical in the final third, because it might come down to that this year. We just don't know.
Do you know who else I was quite impressed with is Big Bassey. I thought Bassey had a really good turn.
He got involved.
I thought he did very well. You know, he's a big fella, and it takes him a wee while to get up, but he managed to get running in there and a couple of magic turns.
A couple of goals, Bridge.
I'm saying that he could have done it, and I thought he did a really good half. When did he go? When did the Barisic go?
The Morelos incident. So
yeah.
He did about half an hour roughly, didn't he?
Yeah. So for about half an hour, I thought he did very, very well. And then Arfield came on, and he just took over the whole park. The whole park. It was brilliant. Superb. Best I've ever seen him playing for us.
He showed a great appetite, but it's hard to judge. We're well in front. They're done and dusted, but he still showed the right attitude.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll say it again, Stardom. For me, best football player in the park, Sir Stephen Davis.
Aye, look, I know at the start of the season, you know, folk were saying maybe his legs were done and things like that. I had questions myself last year. Can he maintain it? You know, can he keep this going, the form that he's showed us? And honestly, he bosses it in there. It makes it almost look easy. He's a step or two ahead of any midfielder in the park at any given moment of the game. You know, and I think if he's come back into the team, we've just looked a lot more positive going forward. Because when we were with Jack and Kamara, it was a bit sideways. You know, they're maybe two alike in the same kind of sense. But Stephen Davis makes it easy for us in the midfield. He really, really does. His intelligence just stands above the rest by a country mile. And he's important for us Oxford, but in the same sense, it is getting to that stage of his career, and we should have players in there that are going to make it easier for him. No, of course he's no. And we need somebody to step up and make it a bit easier. But I think Scott Arfield, he really, really looked as if he was back on Saturday. He looked fresh and he looked ready, he looked hungry. There was just a different dimension to his game as well. He was just driving.
I'm going to put it out there, Bitch. I'm going to put it. I've said it before, but I want to make it. As far as I'm concerned, when Stephen Davis does break the records for the caps, there should be a testimonial for him. Charity his choice. Rangers versus Northern Ireland played at Ibrox Stadium when people are allowed back in.
100% agree. 100% agree. He's well worthy of it. I know he was part of the infamous when we internally blew up. They tell us we keep winning.
Everything right, Stephen, didn't he?
Absolutely, yeah. Done a lot.
Everything right. Class individual on the park, class individual off it.
Yeah.
Ultimate professional Oxshare, isn't he, really?
Here. And a top footballer, mate.
Aye, definitely. I mean, just what he's done for Rangers alone early years, and I'm like you, Oxshare. I still think we were denied his very, very best years. I don't think Stephen Davis would ever have left us. But honestly, so glad we managed to get him back, and that's a man that his heart truly is in it. Ultimate professional, leader on and off the park. He probably trains better than a 21-year-old. I guarantee he does. I guarantee he's still one of the first in there and one of the last out. He's what you want in your team. It really is. He's what you need in your team. Teams like Rangers need players like Stephen Davis. They need characters like Stephen Davis. Folk that don't talk the talk, they just go and walk the walk. And that's what Steve Davis does for us.
I'm hoping that... sorry, I was going...
to join us. What's the number?
Oh, the number's 0141 356 1972.
Or joins at Skype at RangersRadio.online. We'll be brought in to the call by the technical department, Fox and Old School Blue. If you phone in, hang up, and they will call you right back. And what can I talk about, Stardog?
You can talk about all things Rangers.
Yeah. So, Bridgman. Oh, that was quick.
How you doing, mate?
Evening, caller. That was quick.
Right. Hi, Ox. How you doing? It's Big David here. Orison.
How we doing?
I was on. No bad, pal, no bad. I was on last week and I was talking to that guy who was talking to his store. But the following day, I got my money in the bank.
Oh, I know all about it. Brilliant.
Day, good man, right? Well, that's the good news. The bad news is my two sons signed different houses up in Falkirk, and they know I go on this show sometimes, so they listen in as well. They're Rangers fans. I got in the black and the orange tops, and my son this morning, the oldest one, he sent me a video call, and the writing on the front of it starting to peel away after two washes, and he washed it himself inside out at a 30 wash, and I looked at that and I went,
you might as well talk Chinese to me, mate.
Say again, buddy.
You might as well talk.
I know 30 degrees, you know, but no, that's a low wash. I mean, and I was so disappointed. I thought everything was maybe going to start going well now, and I went, oh, for goodness sake. So he said, what did I do there? I said, well, I say that to him. I says, you have to send them back, son. But anyway, that wasn't the point I was from. I was glad that I got the money back in my bank. That was absolutely fine. But then that disappointed me this morning when I seen my son's top. Anyway, it's Kevin Clancy, surprisingly. Now,
I'll let the Bridge take this one when you're finished, David.
Right, Bridge. Hi, Bridge. How you doing?
All right, Davey, yourself, bud.
I'm not
Wait a minute.
Get off your chest.
Wait a minute. Before you go start, David, let me give Bridge a tablet. Here, Bridge, take one of these.
Why, you better give him two. Right. This Clancy was a guy that gave Celtic a penalty last. You remember? It was a clear penalty. I think Katic poked somebody back in the box or something, and that Christie missed the penalty. And remember, McGregor saved it. Now, it was a penalty, and I'm saying to myself, well, I can't really complain. I've watched it, and it's a penalty. Now, he's refereed something like 30 games since. And how many games do you watch where there's no pushing or shoving or hauling at people's arms or whatever in the box? So he must have refereed another 30 odd games, and he's never gave a penalty once for it. So that gets me thinking. I'm no paranoid or anything like that. I know referees are just like players. They're in good games, bad games, whatever. But when I look at that, and then it was a penalty against Celtic, sorry. But he's never given another one since. You got to ask why.
He never gave one in that game. There was one.
No, he gave that one. He gave that one for Celtic.
But there was one on the Rebo.
Exactly. Also, there was. You're absolutely right. Yep.
Dave.
And
sorry.
Dave, did I hear you saying that was a penalty against Rangers that day?
Aye.
You think that was a penalty?
Aye, when you watch it in slow motion,
Kevin Clancy had blew his whistle before Nico's feet had even hit the deck.
Oh, he couldn't wait to get it. Oh, don't get me wrong. I remember shouting at it at the time. He could not wait to point to that spot But he's never gave a penalty since for a corner kick or a free kick with pushing and jostling in the box.
I don't agree with that being a penalty.
Do you know? Well,
no way. It was soft. It was very soft.
Obviously, Big Nico's a bit raw, maybe he's a bit rubbish, but he made up for it that day.
Bridge, have you tablets settled in yet? Have you took the tablets, Bridge?
I have indeed, pal. I'm calmed right down.
Right, okay.
Can I just say, I agree with the other guys. I actually didn't think it was that much of a penalty. I thought that both of them were jostling each other, and Big Julian managed to get a wee bit in front of him, and what do you call him? Big Katic try to hold him back. There was nothing in it.
They played both the penalty.
Absolutely no. The referee was only wanting to give it anyway.
Let David finish. Used to.
I agree, Bridge. He couldn't wait to give it. I remember shouting at the telly at the time. As people hadn't watched it ways. He could not wait to give that penalty. But I've seen. You must admit, Bridge, you've seen penalties like given, maybe down in England or abroad or whatever. But my point is, in all the games he's refereed since, has he never seen it pushing and shoving in the box? He's never gave a penalty since in the penalty box at a corner or a free kick.
I think he only gives penalties in these situations to Celtic. I don't think he gives them to anyone else. To me, I just tell you right now, it may support your views. I think I said it last week, and I'll say it again after particularly watching that game, and it was at the weekend. Mr. Clancy is just a cheat. He's a real bad referee when it comes to Rangers. A very poor. He ran over as quickly as you can. He ran over to Borna and booked him, and I thought he was booking the other guy. I actually thought he was booking the other guy. I couldn't believe he was booking Borna Barisic.
Well, the Borna one, mate, could have been a booking. Borna got caught in the right side, pulled him back. He gave a foul against Borna when Borna played the ball. Do you know? See, before your show started tonight, I tried to go now. Clyde Super Scoreboard. I've not phoned them for years, but Hugh Keevans was definitely defending Clancy, and I'd had enough of it. And I'm phoning in here, and the guy says, "What are you phoning up about?" I says, "I'm phoning up about Kevin Clancy, and what is that? Is there a particular point?" I says, "Aye." It's just the same point I've said to you in Bridgeock or something. And right, okay, we'll give you a phone back if we'll see the editor and give you a call back if we're going to take your call. Still waiting. You would be
still waiting.
What did you make of the talking point for Saturday and the tackle on Morelos?
Ridiculous, mate. Ridiculous. And more so when you see the still photograph that was on social media and all the rest of it. I watched it at the time, and don't get me wrong, I had to see it a second time to confirm my suspicions. Mm-hmm. But I'm the same as Bridge. Anyway, that Clancy, I hope he's not refereeing any Rangers Celtic games this season, because I know Rangers won that last game 2-1. That's because we played brilliant. But if he's got a chance to give Celtic a penalty again or send off a Rangers player, I've no doubt. And see the tablets Bridge took, I'll have to take two of them and all. He's refereeing a Rangers Celtic. Oh my God.
We've known the penalty since last October.
What's that, Oxshare? Sorry?
We've known the penalty since last October.
Wow.
That's right. And we're the ones that get penalties all the time. According to Celtic fans, we get penalties all the time. Aye, very good.
Bridgeman.
Oh. Yes, pal.
Do you get your pills out of Port Bear?
Why? No. He's got any of his pills.
He gets some direct fee. Is it Diagra?
That's it. Or Tony.
Bonacci's is very biased with his pills. He only takes big blue ones.
Aye.
Right, so David, were you happy with the result?
Yes.
I'm sure there's a night.
Delighted.
Clancy thing will be a common thread.
Absolutely. Delighted result, delighted performance. Pleased for Tavernier. Mm-hmm. Pleased for him and all. Steve Davis, outstanding. And that's without a good few of our players, especially Aribo. I think we'll need him as the season goes on. I just want to get through this game on Thursday with the road, and then we'll go to that probably Willem the second or something like that. Do you know anything about them? I don't know nothing about them.
I know more about William III.
I know him. I know. Aye. He must have fought Glancy's guys in the past. No, his lot. Jesus Christ! Oh, honest to God, but I'm the same as Bridge. I just that Clancy. I couldn't get through to Super Scoreboard. I'm sure Hugh Keems has looked at the question and don't let him on. he took 2 tablets, so don't let him on for God's sake. There you go.
You're very welcome on here, David. So, yeah.
I know that.
I'm sorry about your boy's strap, obviously.
I know, I'm disappointed.
Take it back.
That's disappointed. I know that. I will do, pal. Listen, I'll let you go then. I'll listen to your show, okay?
All right, mate.
Cheers David.
All right. All right. Guys, take it easy. Bye-bye, man.
Yeah. What a man, what a bear.
Right. So, Oxchair, see, I was touching on earlier the goals.
Can I go? I'm touching
getting that. Listen. I was talking about the players spreading the goals out among the team. That's a real positive thing. You know, Roof's got 2 and 3 games. Barisic just popped up. You know, Tav's got 2 now. Hadji's after mark for the season. Arfield's after mark. Alfie's got a couple. Kent's got 4. You know, the team's flying now, and that's got to be a positive going forward. Because last season, I don't think we had that. I don't think we had that consistency throughout the team. Aye, we were.
Anyway, we've enjoyed Bernard. Caller, evening, caller.
All right, lads. It's Gary 85 here. How's it going?
How we doing, Gary? All right, mate?
Aye, not too bad. Can't complain anyway. Hope you're all well.
I'm up for God, pleased you're on, Gary. You've raised the debate, pal. You've raised the debate.
Gary, what's on your mind?
I was just listening to it about that Clancy and that what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
When that tackle went in against Alfredo Morelos, it was Rangers players the referee was wanting to book. If they said anything, Gerrard seen that and took Borna Barisic right off. He knew.
Borna seen that. It looked to me that Borna had seen the tackle and was angry because of that, mate.
Aye, you can't blame the boy for that. Do you know what I mean? But what is meant to do?
No. I thought it was a wise substitution.
Definitely. Aye, definitely. Big Bassey had done himself proud when he came on as well. So it's looking good. Kent was getting hammered all day as well, man. And see the way he just got up and got on with it and kept running riot. Brilliant. I actually loved watching the game on Saturday.
Aye, it was a positive performance. Obviously, some negatives because of our injuries, but the funny thing is, when poor Barker done his hamstring in, I thought when Morelos came on, that was maybe a stronger team, if I'm being honest.
Aye, Oxchair, 100% agree with you. You know, Arfield as well, when they come on, I mentioned the substitutes. I think everybody done due diligence when they come on. I thought they were absolutely superb, the substitutes that come on. Morelos looked just looked fresh and hungry. Arfield looked fresh and hungry. They were driving at defences. You know, the injuries were maybe a wee setback, maybe last season. But this season, it just shows the depth we've got. You know, there's real depth in that bench now, and there's players that you can actually look to that are going to come on and do a good job for the team. And that's really all you can ask for. That's standard for a Rangers player. That's what we've been looking for the past 3 years for Gerrard come in. And you can start to see it now. You know, he really has assembled a squad of football players.
Gary, I've got to take my hat off to Big Hollander. He wasn't in the starting 11, obviously. It's not the first time it's ever happened, but he got the call late, Big Balogun get an injury and all. That's not too serious. Hollander comes in and he's that boy just plays his game. He's a solid defender, does the basics very, very well, and a real team player.
He actually looks like he belongs there, Big Hollander.
He's a natural defender, if that makes sense, Bridget.
He's brilliant. He's a brilliant centre-half, tell you that. Look, I'm not saying he's the best in the world, but my goodness gracious, he's played an international game on Tuesday. He gets himself back, you know, gets his wound down and gets himself back, and he's on the bench, and before you know it, he's in the team. Never put a foot wrong. I thought he was excellent. Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, man.
No, you go, Gary. Then we'll go stand-up.
I was just going to say, like Hollander, I think his confidence is up the new. He knows if he keeps playing well, he's going to keep getting a game. And I think all the team know that, when they break into the team, they keep playing well and do a good job. They're going to be kept in the team, and I think that's great for the club anyway. It's good to see anyway. As much as I would like to see Big Balogun get a run, Hollander, you can't drop him. He's never put a foot wrong.
I know it's going to be hard for your man, Stardog, isn't it?
Listen, Big Phil's just keeping Nico's shirt warm for him till he gets back, right? I love that guy. I miss him. He's on my mind every day. Nico, if you're listening, get well soon and come back, because we need you.
I believe
You're always on my mind.
Aye, I love that guy, Bridge. I love him. I love him.
The Elvis as well.
Right. No, Nico for me, he's the man. But Big Phil's been absolutely brilliant all year. He's solid, and he just goes about his business. He doesn't ever try nothing fancy. He clears his lines. He plays his passes. He's just a solid defender, mate. And you can see he's got the experience. You know, he's played football at a high level, a Swedish international. He's got it. He's just a yard or two short pace-wise for me, but I think he's keeping Big Nico's shirt warm for him, Bridger.
Don't see that myself. I don't see that myself.
I know one thing. Somebody's going to have to play really, really well to sort of get Hollander out, because I think he's such a good player, and he gives a wee bit of assistance on the left side quite well. You see some of his clearances. When I say clearances, so it's more like good passes up the wing and things like that. That's excellent to watch. Excellent to watch for a centre half.
That's the advantage he's got. He's left-footed, isn't he? Gary? No. We lost Gary? We've lost Gary.
We've lost Gary.
He's giving you a dizzy. He's giving you a dizzy, pal.
It's not the first time that's happened.
Back in, Gary.
Aye. Can't get the staff on here sometimes, you know. Aye. But no, listen, Hollander's sound at the back. The left foot definitely. Aye. It makes a big difference, you know, and it fits in with Barisic. I think Bridgman pointed that out last season when Hollander came into the team. You know, it was that bit of unbalance in the team, you know, no having a left-sided defender. And see if you actually look at it, Oxshire, right? See if Rangers go and sign this guy that they're going to sign this week, who's another left-footed player. How many left-footed players have Steven Gerrard signed? When you think about Aribo and Barisic and Hollander, and mate, he's signed a lot of left-footed players. He likes left-footers.
Did you cut me off here because I said I was wanting Balogun running the team?
No, not at all, mate. He disappeared. We thought you hung up. We thought we were born you.
Right. Ended it picks Balogun ahead of Nico Katic gets cut.
Don't listen to him.
Katic is going to struggle to get back in that team, I think.
But Big Katic is to go in a course how to learn to cut up the oranges.
Oh, right.
You're a cruel person, Joe. A real cruel person.
It's hard for him. I mean, Katic is young for a defender. I think Big Hollander's got a couple of years on him, but Golston's the man at the moment, whether they like it or not. Balogun has made a really good impression. Hollander's steady left-footed. I mean, it's going to be a real struggle for Nico. Not that anybody thinks that Nico's not got something about him, but he's going to have to play well to win that team starter.
Aye, I know, but I believe, mate, you know, just who else puts the ball in the net like that against them at Parkhead? Do you know what I mean? I love him. I really do, and I think he's got everything in his locker to become a really, really good centre-back on a European level, I feel. Because remember, let's not forget, he's in the Croatia set-up as well. You know what I mean? They've got their eye on him. They really, really rate him, and they like him as well, and they don't produce bad players. So Nico, for me, he's cut for the Rangers cloth, and I think he'll be a great centre-back for us for years to come. I really do, and I think this injury will make him stronger, mentally, physically. I think we'll see an absolute animal, the animal that Bridge has been wanting for ages when he comes back. We'll see that in Big Nico.
Oh, he'll be cutting up the oranges.
No. How dare you? How dare you speak about him like that?
I can see the toys getting thrown out the pram in a minute.
I tell you, Bridge.
Bridge was good at that, cutting up the oranges.
The man's a shocker.
And Bridge finished the game with a lovely knife.
Oh, brilliant.
Gary, what a problem Gerrard's got. He's got 3 good centre-halves, 1 injured, Edmondson developing. Arguably, we've got 5 decent at the club.
it's amazing as a fan. I honestly want to see Balogun doing well, but you can't drop the team the new again. You've got to play that back line. It's a great problem to have. We all want to see these players coming in and do this and do that, but as the team's doing well, you can't just cut your nose off to spite your face sort of thing and change it about. It'd be all one shouting for Haaland to be dropped or somebody to be dropped if they were having a howler every week, but that's just not happening anyway.
Don, I believe you've got to keep everybody hungry.
Don't seem to have a right good attitude. That's the big thing. Well, if people want to join us, give their thoughts. What's the number, Bridge?
The number's 0141 356 1972.
Where else can you join us, Stardog?
You can join us at Skype at RangersRadio.online and you will be brought into the call by All School Blue.
Phone on. If you're using the phone in, hang up and we will contact you right back. Gary, I'm going to put something else out there. John McLaughlin, we've been singing his praises. A couple of wee minor hiccups on Saturday, never led to a goal. One particular for a cross when he came and Nicky Clark put in front of it. But
I think he was never near that close.
He wasn't great, but his distribution is still pretty good. I think that's the plus he's got in that one. But another clean sheet to his name.
I think he's better than McGregor with his feet, with his control and the distribution and that. A wee bit of luck that they didn't score at the weekend there, but that finished 4-0 and that's he's kept a clean sheet. That'll be doing on his record. Ken, so I can't see him being dropped until he has a real howler. So that's a good problem to have as well, like who they're playing, McLaughlin or McGregor, because the two of them will do a job for you. Like that's like a cert.
Stardog, I'm not criticising him. I thought he was arguably my worst player on Saturday because I thought all the few players were sevens, maybe a wee bit more than that for a couple of them. But John, there was a couple of little mistakes, no major. But he still managed to keep a clean sheet.
Aye, did Oxford. I think we were no lucky. Lucky's probably the wrong word to use, but Dundee United went up the park. I think it was like the last attack of the game, and the boys picked the ball up in the box, and he's hit the shot, but he's not even got the shot on target. When really, the far post was there. I don't know what John McLaughlin would have done in that instant, but he was fun wanting with a cross as well. He came out and he never managed to collect the cross, and they've hit the bar on their occasion. But look, Big John McLaughlin's been absolutely sound for us, but for me, Alan McGregor's still the number one. I think he's better with his feet, McLaughlin, but McGregor's decision making in that's 10 times better than his. So for me, I would like to have McGregor still on the team, and you've got to keep everybody hungry. I don't think we should have anybody in the team that's
weekend, remember.
I understand that, but I'm talking about the likes of Halander and Balogun and Golson and even Katic when he comes back. Like, I feel you are going to have to mix it up for some games, not all the time, but for some games, because I believe that's what the reason was for the dip in some of the players' forms last year. They were in the team every single week, every single game, and I think the substitutions in that the weekend proved that we'll have got a solid 14, 15 players Oxford that can come on and make an impact and play and do the job that they need to do for Rangers.
We'll be joined by Denver, even in Denver, or good morning, or good afternoon, your good self.
Good afternoon, lunchtime in Boulder, Colorado. How are we, guys?
How's the weather?
The weather is fantastic. It's 80 degrees all week, no snow this week. So we're all good.
Sounds great, pal. Aye. Is that where you're from? Is that where you live, or is that where you're working, Boulder?
No, I'm working up here now. It's an odd place, Boulder, Colorado. It's the same wee enclave. It's a kind of strange place, Bridge, But that's where I'm at the moment. So
what you saying? What's the equivalent of a drum chapel?
Don't say it.
I don't even know if there would be I don't even know if there's a Scottish equivalent in Boulder. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think Boulders is one in wee republic. It's a weird place. Anyway, good performance at the weekend. What's that, bro? Good performance at the weekend. What impressed me was that even all these substitutes, we never missed a beat. Do you know how sometimes when you make substitutions, the the tempo drops a wee bit, but we never missed a beat straight through all that time. It was just fantastic. It was great.
Well, game never started well for us with Jack getting injured, then Brandon Barker. I think what generally upset me when off, and I don't know if the boys think, well, if I'm in the team and how do I get back in when I go forward, but it looks like hamstring, so I'm out for a few weeks. Then we had Bareilles assault. We bring on Arfield with Big Bassey at the same time for Borna as a, if you like, a preventative substitution, Denver. And we just kept playing at the same tempo, which was pleasing me.
Oh, aye. That was the thing that impressed me the most, you know, just that tempo just kept going right through Ox, you know. I'll tell you, that Big Bassey, he's the new Ted McMahon. Aye, what a player that big boy is. He's going to burst the net one of these times real soon, you know. And Kamara's back to the Bobby Russell style that I was talking about last year. See, when he's no get Jack beside him, he seems to run the show himself, you know.
I don't know if he's the same class as Bobby, is he?
No, not the same class, but he's got that similar style.
Mm-hmm.
He's got, you know, he runs the midfield there, you know.
Bobby was a one-half, wasn't he?
Oh, aye.
A real classy.
Aye, good stuff. Aye, and it was good to, you know, Dundee United, they played some decent football. They weren't just playing all that 12 men at the back and all that stuff, you know. So it was good to watch. Good stuff.
The first 10 minutes, mate, they were pushing 3 up to try and stop us knocking them out the back, didn't they?
Aye. It took a wee while for us to get into that rhythm there, you know. I didn't think we were expecting that sort of thing, you know.
Aye, and then once we got the goal, mate, we just actually, when it finished 4, I actually flattered the United, didn't it?
Aye, no doubt about it. The amount of chances you've had. I watched that again last night, and it's just, we're looking good at the moment. We're looking really good, you know. Mm-hmm. All over the park, everybody.
Who was your man of the match, Denver?
I think Stevie Davis, you know, I thought he had a great game. And Tav as well.
Sir Stephen Davis.
Aye, exactly, aye. You know, I think maybe we should be thinking about maybe giving him a wee rest right enough. I don't think we need to play him against the Imps on Thursday. Although you're always got that thing, you want to play your strongest team, you know.
Well, he'll obviously want to go to Gibraltar to bring back his duty free, you know what I mean? He'll know why he won't go, you know what
I
mean? Gary, who was your man in the match?
I thought it was definitely Davis for me. Like I've heard folks saying, "Oh, that's him, the Hull and that," but he actually looked like Steve Davis when he came the first time to Rangers. I thought he was immense. I don't know what they've been feeding Scott Arfield as well, but I've said on the show before about how runs into the boot and that. And when he came on, it just, as you said, the tempo never dropped. I think it went up a wee bit actually.
Aye.
And the runs he was making, man, he's unplayable. And he'll score us a barrel of goals doing that. Important goals too, I think. But if he keeps doing that, he wasn't doing that there for a wee while, but it looked great to watch actually. I was sitting here like, oh, pure in awe. Yeah, they were just stroking it about and taking the piss really, weren't they?
Well, as I said, 4-0 fatter than D United, mate.
Oh, definitely, aye, definitely. Could have been
Stardust, if you made up your mind who you're going for, man of the match, you can't get you Big Nico.
Oh, no, I wish I could. I really do.
Just give him it, Stardust, just give him it.
It was see the thing is, Denver, he's always on my mind, Big Nico. But see what you were saying.
Bromance, Denver. It's a bromance.
Aye, for sure.
But Jimmy, Denver.
What a man.
I'll tell you, my man of the match is probably going to have to be Ryan Kent, because I just think every time he goes on a part for Rangers, he's head and shoulders above everybody on the pitch for me. But Denver, see what you were saying about Bassey. I was thinking that at the weekend, the way he was ploughing down the left-hand side, he's going to end up just hitting a ball for 40 yards or 50 yards one day, isn't he? And it's just going to end up in the tap bin. He seems like that kind of guy, doesn't he? He's got rockets in his boots.
There's a lot of confidence in that boy, you know.
We'll be joined by Alan, the Hampshire. Evening, Alan.
Good evening, guys. How you all doing?
How we doing, mate? All right?
We're all right. Not too bad. What can I say? He's all delighted with the performance?
I mean, I thought the performance was very, very good. I enjoyed some of the play. I was just just being the perfectionists we all are. A couple more goals, mate. Just a couple more, you know.
See, do you know something? I actually agree, but at the same time, that performance has put that smile back in my face.
Aye.
And I
took that before the game. I took that before the game, you know.
Well, do you know, so I would have took a 1-0. I think that's Bridge. Bridge would always say that 1-0. The 1-0, 3 points.
I'm well known for it, innit? I'm well known for it.
He said once or twice, isn't he?
But I'll tell you what, it's still efficient. You know, 3 points in the bag, clean sheet. You know, even worst case scenario, yeah, I would have took that. But no, I was really pleased with the performance. I thought everybody came into the team. It was the first 11, and the subs coming on. Each one of them knew exactly how Gerrard wanted that game to be played. It was just, unfortunately, Clancy was the referee.
Who was your man of the match?
You know, Sir Davis, or strongly, I would have said Kent. He was in everything. So it's a hard one to call between Davis and Kent.
Well, you look after fence. Who was man of the match?
Oh, there's someone drifting water there.
Well, you just carry on. It's just somebody saying the message.
No, I thought Kent had another brilliant game.
Go for Kent then.
I'll go for Kent.
All right, okay. I don't know who's right.
Bridgeman, put your Game
No,
Boy
mate.
in. We're live.
What are you talking about? It's like messages coming through the fucking Skype.
Oh dear.
Excuse me. I'm sitting here listening to the thing and I've got messages popping up. Sorry.
Can't argue with that. Denver, Stephen Davis. He's been great for us in both his terms. He deserves a swan song. What's a career he's had when you really look at it? Top of the list, Denver.
Must be a way back to work.
I might have get caught, Gary. I might have get caught.
That's shocking saying that, by the way. God.
I was on the one that gets paid on Rangers Radio, Denver. I
love it.
He's a professional caller star, Doug. He gets paid when his phone's in.
Aye, Denver's worth the top dollar, him, isn't he? He's the creme de la creme, him.
There's a lot to be said about that. That's the truth. That's the truth, pal.
Right.
Creme de la creme's a good one.
I don't think there was anybody played badly for us in Saturday starter. Really don't.
No, there wasn't a bad player in the 14, 15 players we've seen last year. You know, they all done what they were supposed to do. I thought Glenn Kamara had a great game. Even he finished selling the box at one point, putting a header in towards the net. You know, Haji's got a goal and 2 assists now in 2 games. You know, and even at that, Haji never really looked satisfied with himself at the weekend. I don't know if anybody else can have seen that, but for the 4th goal last year, he kind of passed it to Arfield and his head's been down. Not that his head's been doing a negative way, but you know, I think he knows that there's still a lot more that he's got to prove to himself at a club like Glasgow Rangers. But Kent, for me this season, Kent's really stepped up to the plate last year, has he not?
Aye, Kent's playing well. He's Gary's brought this goal scoring. He's what's that? He's my top goal scorer with 4, I believe. 4 league goals.
4 goals, soft share.
1 against Aberdeen, 1 against obviously Saturday. Who else did he score against?
He scored against St Johnstone.
Right.
He scored against St Mirren as well.
That's it, 4 goals, aye.
Yeah.
Consistent Gary.
No, sorry, no St Mirren, sorry, Kilmarnock, sorry.
Oh, I've been joined by another caller. I know this number. Evening, Mucker.
How you doing, guys?
Oh, I've been worried about you.
Don't worry about me, mate. I just go to the ground every now and again.
I know, that's
usually,
what worries me.
Usually a dead man after me.
How we doing, Mucker?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. I just phoned in. It's always good to beat Clancy 4-0, isn't it?
That's what it feels like, mate, you know. Well, put it this way, I mean, it was a red card, but that wasn't his worst decision. There was even worse decisions than that where people were just pulling players back blatantly. And, it's a yellow card all day long.
It seems to be happening a lot in Scotland this season. The professional fouls slipping back into the game again. It's ridiculous, by the way. Again, it's into the game for certain clubs, but it's not in for all clubs. You know what I mean? It's one of those situations. But that guy is just an out-and-out cheat. It's been said on here before. It's been said on here recently. That's what he is. He's just a cheat. There's no getting away from it, guys. He's an out-and-out cheat. And he set it all up lovely for himself with his comments at the beginning of the season. He knew it would get to this stage. He knew what was coming, so he set that up nicely by saying, "Oh, we know how important this season is," because he knows exactly what he's doing. By the way, he knew that was a red card. He's seen it, or this he didn't see it nonsense. That's a lot of crap. He's seen that, okay, and he's seen all the professional fouls as well. But it's funny how the important players in the Rangers teams are the ones that get booked right away, isn't it? It's unbelievable. Mm-hmm. You're sitting going like that. There's a wee agenda here or something, because it's always Morelos or it'll be Barisic. Barisic is playing out his skin at the moment. No, next thing he takes about him, big hit and get booked for getting fouled. And you sit and look at it and go, I mean, what's that about?
You know the question I would give you? I know you're a very, very wise man, Albert. Very, very wise. Wise above your years. There you go. Right.
What are you after?
A sub.
I've no money. I was listening to Bridge the other night talking about his dishwasher. I was talking to him in the middle of the day.
Oh, God almighty. Don't you start.
I was talking in the middle of the day, Bridge, talking to my dishwasher.
Exactly.
Albert, if Morelos does the same tackle, what happens?
Oh, he's off the park. No doubt about it. He's off the park. And then, by the way, we were in here probably sitting going, well, he can't complain about that. I mean, they done it with Jack last year with that May. All of a sudden, that was the dirtiest tackle that's ever been in Scottish football. You know what I mean? And you're sitting going, and Jack genuinely played the ball and folded through and caught the boy May. And you're sitting saying, well, it's one of the ones. It's violent, dangerous play, whatever we want to call it. But you can't have it both ways. You can't have it happening to a Rangers player and then it's ignored completely. He knew Clancy on Saturday, if he had to take action, he had to send him off. That's why he didn't take action. He knows if he admits he sees it, he has to send him off. He's no choice. Oh, I didn't see it, or they just play on, or I can't even remember. Did somebody kick the ball out, or he didn't even get a foul for it?
Oh, wasn't he? Never gave a foul.
So I mean, he's conning everybody. It's just a con. It started before the ball was kicked. With his comments in the media and the Sky Sports, or whatever it was, he done the comment.
Oh,
I knew right away.
I'm glad you mentioned Sky Sports, mate. I've not seen it, but I believe Dermot Gallagher shone today on Sky Sports when they said it wasn't even a card.
I actually heard somebody saying that. You know that I heard somebody saying that. That's what that guy had said, and I thought to myself, what game were they watching? Okay, I think when I hear these things, I must be the most biased person in the whole world.
That may be Dermot Gallagher, mate.
I can't believe that MD would say that. Do you know what I heard, Michael? But I was saying that Mikey, what's his name? Who used to be with Rangers youth team. It's on the BBC. Stuart. Apparently, he went through a tantrum when they mentioned that our manager had said, you know, if the shoe had been other foot, like, you know, a different thing, you know. They need to stop that.
He's not got an agenda. He's not got any other.
No agenda at all. You know that.
Yeah.
I mean, even we had, you look at the treatment we had, he's getting at the moment. You got to remember, these are young boys. And he's getting clattered all over the place, but he's no protection whatsoever. No protection. You're standing going, there's one of them that crunched him. And I think the boy, his teeth must have been shaking and everything. And he looked at the referee if they say, what do you need to do here to get a foul? What's happening here? But these are the types of referees and decisions that's going to chase good players away from Scotland. If we're ever going to get good players again, that is. But they're going to chase them away. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. One of the things I was going to talk about was Jack and all. I mean, that boy was injured before he even kicked a body on that game. He really was. That was that Scotland carry on again. That boy needs to make a decision. It's either Scotland or Rangers. That boy's body can't do both. And he needs to make a decision right now, because that's every time he goes to play for that scum mob that he comes back injured. And me as a supporter, a Rangers supporter, I'm not prepared to put up with this any longer. I want to play for my country. I don't know what the hell he wants to play for Scotland for anyway. It's a stupid, irrelevant country with a stupid, irrelevant team. And it's not even a good team. What do you want to play in that team for? But anyway, we pay his wages. He needs to make a decision as far as I'm concerned. I'm sick of this. They overtrained him the last time.
When Barker pulled up, mate, I was a bit disappointed because they were both looked as if they were muscle injuries to me.
Yep.
And usually with muscle injuries, you've not done the correct work at the start, Bridge, yeah?
Absolutely, pal.
You know,
Absolutely.
I mean, I hope I'm wrong, but we've got expensive sports scientists, people doing all our warm-ups, setting out all our programmes, and I hope they get it better. Or it was just down and out bad luck, Stardust.
I think with Ryan Jacks, the fact that he walked off the park and it's a calf, usually if it's a calf, you're not going to walk off the park, so his might not be as bad. Brandon Barker, I mean, I'm like you, Oxshare. I felt a wee bit sorry for him as well because you could see the disappointment in the boy's face. He's just desperate to get a run in the team. He's not played bad for this. He's actually done a job for this. He's come in and done a job. So, you could see it in the boy's face. He was hurt by it. That's him out for a couple of weeks. But look, again, he's the same as my man, Big Nico. He's going to have a fight in his hands to get back into that squad. So he is. So he's just going to come back stronger, mate. He's going to need to come back stronger. But as for Ryan Jack, I think with Davis and Kamara, Arfield and that there, we'll not overly miss Ryan Jack. Maybe a wee break will do him good. Get rested up and get him back 100%. I don't think there's any reason to rush anybody this year. I think we've got good depth in the squad. Still one or two short, but we'll get there, Oxshare. So no, definitely a wee bit of unluckiness involved with the two of them, but Brandon Barker I'm a wee bit more disappointed for.
It looked as if at first, Alan, that Jack had popped his calf, but when he walked off and that looked, if you have such a thing, it looked a bit more positive because he walked off.
That's what I just said, you fucking fat.
He walked off and that.
Shocking, by the way. Language. What do you mean? I've not said anything yet.
We've been joined with Dale just before we got the tune. Evening, Dale.
How's it going, guys?
All right, mate.
All right, man. Cheers.
It's still afternoon here.
Is it? We're still getting the fires, eh?
No, I think most of them are out now. It's not as bad.
That's good news. Good news.
But it's all good. Now, I was just listening to you guys talking about the tackle there.
Mm-hmm.
And if you actually, you look at the still photograph of that and you see how straight his leg was, you see how straight that boy's leg was, granted Morelos there. To me, it just reminded me of the Injured Ant one, years ago, which was horrific. And seeing it on the telly, we just saw the size of the gash in his leg. And I don't think that Morelos actually got hurt through that because his leg wasn't completely planted. But if his leg was planted and the studs were in the ground there, he might have been in, serious trouble there.
Right, we'll come back to that deal. Everybody get themselves in mute. We'll have a tune.
From Ohio, so young, to Glasgow City, they come, seeking fortune and a new way of life. How could they know ambitions would grow? Such a beautiful story, and here's how it goes. All outside our dream, the start of football team. They have no money, no care, not even a ball. They still carried on. The Rangers were born. 54 titles, we're still going strong. So what's up your Rangers, not sing with your heart, sing with your heart. Celebrate the greatest club in the world. Let our history show what we already know. We are
Well, thanks for that. Are we all back with us?
Aye, still here.
We are indeed, yes.
I'm here, right?
Right.
Hi, I'm here.
Right, check in. Come on, Dale. Come off of mute. Come on, Dale.
He's
You're
at
very
it.
with us.
He's at it.
You're going to have to run a course for all these people how to come up and on a mute, mate.
All right, I think I've got it now.
Oh,
You've
you've
gone
cracked
yourself,
it,
pal.
You've
All I
cracked
can
it,
see
dude.
most of the time is that wee head out that wee baldy head with the moustache out the Muppets, and then I've got to try and find the.
That's a selfie. That's what you're saying, mate. That's a selfie of Fox.
When did you get a
Oh,
photo
is
of
that
me?
what it is, mate? Aye, okay. That's what they give you on Skype anyway. So, aye, no, I'm back.
All right, mate. So you started to mention what happened on Saturday, mate, and then we went to tune. Carry on, Dale. The floor's yours, and then I'll let
Aye,
Gary
it was
after you.
just. I thought, it was really cynical because, okay, he got the ball, but just the way his leg came up straight, but to me, it was definitely deliberate, to hurt the player, and I that's what I'm saying. Having seen that still photograph, Morelos' leg was straight, but if his foot had been totally on the ground at the time, that would have done serious damage, It still gives me nightmares back, when I saw the tackle on Durante
Durant,
and the amount of damage that did. That was terrible,
Only
and
that boy will
that
know
was
that
as close as you're going to get.
Only that boy will
Well,
know
I think so. Yeah. I mean, he kind of kept his mouth shut after it. It's not, I don't know. Maybe we'll see what this compliance officer says, but I don't see much coming out of that. But
that was irrelevant for me, whether it was deliberate, mistimed, whatever you like to say about it. It was still a red card because
aye.
it was
Every day
serious
of the
foul
week,
play.
that boy, he should have been sent off. He endangered a player.
Oh, somebody's got the show on. It was serious foul play. Bridgeman.
I was just going to say, I reckon that, like that incident with Morelos yesterday, and if the what do you call him, these compliance officer doesn't look at that, doesn't even look at it, then there's something wrong. If he looks at it, or she looks at it, whichever the case may be, and decides that no punishments or a referee must have been right, then I don't know what's going to happen in Scottish football. Because I think that was an absolutely shocking tackle. Absolutely shocking. And a even worse shocking decision, the referee to do a drop ball after it. Never even get a free kick. So what were the football officials? What was the referee seeing? What was he watching? What was he? What did he see? Did he not see him getting kicked? I don't know about that, but somebody else must have seen it. There wasn't any more than 35 or 40 people in the whole fucking stadium. So what did they see? Sorry, pal. Sorry. It's really upsetting.
I
think it sends a message.
On you go, Dale. And then we'll go to Albert.
What was it, me? I never said anything.
Oh, sorry, it was Alan. Sorry,
It was Alan.
Sorry, Alan.
It sends a message to the opposition that you're allowed one bad tackle on a Rangers player and not get punished. Because if you've got that kind of tackle getting stuck in, it was a horrific tackle.
It was a red card. That's
Definitely.
Albert. There's no. It's just a red card. That's all it is. That's it.
There isn't any. Clancy's no defence, by the way. He's absolutely no defence and not getting that red card. He's none of them whatsoever. But he didn't get it. And he'll walk away and nothing will happen with the guy again. And he's doing this time and time and time again with us. It's ridiculous with the decisions we're getting against this referee. It really is bad now. It's getting to the stage now that they don't care. They really don't care what anybody's saying. They're out to do something, and we all know, we all suspect what it is, but it's not right. It's just not right. Just be fair. If it's a red card, it's a red card. If it's not a red card, it's not a red card. And that's a red card all day long. In every game of football that you're ever going to watch, apart from Clancy refereeing a Rangers game, that's a red card. That's no doubt about it. That's a red card.
Even in a Sunday league.
If you get a gas above the knee like that, right, you look at the height of it, and a gas can only mean a stud.
The last time Man and Open seen a gash above the knee like that was 1952.
I'm about the same.
Gary, it was just a red card, wasn't it?
Oh, definitely. It should have been charged with the force. But see the worst thing as well, you've got fourth officials there, linesmen. For none of them to say, wait a minute, you've made a blunder there.
I've got to be fair on the two linesmen. The linesman is on the Sandy Jardine side. He's further away than Clancy. Behind Clancy, further down the park, and the other one's on the complete other side of the park. It's a Clancy decision. It's a refereeing decision.
Well, I'm not saying he's not for being it, right?
If he has missed it, right? If he has missed it, he's not even been man enough to come out and say, if I'd have seen that, I'd have sent him off.
Well, that would have maybe appeased some fans if he's man enough to come out and say that, but for him to just dismiss it, it's totally wrong, eh? And as you say, he's a cheat.
The picture in the press shows that Clancy did see it. There was nobody in his line of view.
I've not looked at that. I've not seen that, Alan, but I'll tell you what.
But that's the biased pundits coming out again, trying to make an excuse for him. And the same as they done with that Colum down at St Mirren with Candace. He blew a kiss. That was nothing to do with blowing a kiss. The boy got a punch in the face and actually got a red card for getting punched in the face. I mean, it's just these pundits. But it's all these pundits just coming out trying to make excuses because they don't want to give Rangers the desire. That's all it's about. And this is how Scottish football is dying. This is why it's dying. There's no fairness in Scottish football. There's no integrity in Scottish football. Absolutely none whatsoever. It's been plastered over all the media platforms today. None whatsoever. I mean, there you are. We had all 8 weeks to bring some credibility into our game because we were the only show in town when the Premier League wasn't there. As soon as the Premier League turns up, they drop you like a hot stone because there's nothing to see. It's crap. It's absolute crap, and the referees are making it worse. And they should be held to task. He should never ever referee a top flight football game in Scotland again. That clown. He really shouldn't.
Yeah. I've got to agree with the man.
Shouldn't referee a Sunday match.
Rich?
Absolutely, mate.
Yeah, I agree with what the guys are saying. You all know how I feel about the guy. I think he shouldn't be allowed in football. And I'll tell you what I think. I'll follow on from what I was saying earlier, if this turns out to be that guy ends up getting, let's say they find him, that was a terrible tackle, we'll give you a 2-match ban, just for saying sake, the compliance officer, they should give the referee a 2-match ban as well, and his 2 officials, because there's nobody in Ibrox. They're the only ones there that are officiating. Nobody can get in their way other than other players. And if there's 3 of them can't see out of that, one of them can't see that there's something seriously wrong with them. Seriously. Get them
5 of them, Bridge. There's 5 of them.
Whatever it takes, however many there are, that's all I'm saying. Right. So
there's one in the touchline and one in the stand.
Well, there you go then. So don't tell me that not one of them saw that. And are they all mic'd up? Yes, they are. So they're not one of them saw it. Sorry, that's rubbish. Just rubbish.
I can understand how the linesman never seen it. I've got to be honest with you. I can fully understand how the linesman with the angles and all that. Yeah, it's a referee decision. He was no more than, 10, 15 yards away from the plate. It's his decision.
And again, and again, it's who they're refereeing, isn't it? It's the player, isn't it? It's definitely.
I'll ask you that again, right? If the exact same tackle had happened the other way about, we'll go to Alan first and then Gary. What would have happened? Alan.
Oh, if that was Morelos making a tackle, the card would have been out his pocket before the tackle would have been completed. As Stevie Gerrard said in his interview about, I wonder what would have happened if it was the other way around. But we all know it would have been a red card. In fact, I think he would have red carded him twice, just for the fun of it. But I can't understand. This boy's going to get away with that tackle. When he goes to the compliance officer, he's going to get away with it, because then it proves that Clancy's incompetent. And they don't want to prove that, because he's getting lined up for the first Old Firm match, I guaranteed.
Sounds like it too, doesn't it? Sounds like it, pal.
You might be right. Gary, and then we'll go to Dale.
Oh, I definitely agree. If the ball was on the other foot, Morelos would have been definitely off. I mean, it wasn't even just that tackle. There was tackles going on all day. There wasn't even green free kicks first. Kent got quartered at least 3 times. Hadji a couple as well. And I'm not saying they were all bookings, but a couple of them were like, and he just didn't like, you know. I actually thought he was going to book a couple of Rangers players when they went near him when that tackle went in. Gerrard seen it and took Barisic off because he had already been booked. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's laughable in a way, like, but and as the guy said there, they're not going to do anything about that, because it proves Clancy's just an incompetent clown, and they're not going to come out and do that. So I can't see nothing happening for that, like.
There'd be one thing if it was a one-off. Sorry, guys.
Albert, Dale, and then Albert.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, it's almost every game that Clancy referees, and I will say against Rangers, it just seems to be the same pattern all the time. And, you know, just the way I look at it, I was getting scared for Barisic there as well, because he saw it firsthand and he saw exactly what the challenge was. And I'm thinking, this boy's going to get sent off here, you know. And these are the boys that are playing the game, you know. And this Clancy does it every time. It's just the standard is terrible, as far as I'm concerned.
I was really pleased with Barisic's reaction, because he obviously seen it. Yeah.
Well, so was I. You know, don't get me wrong, he was just sticking up for his teammate. But that's the type of thing that Clancy will send you off the park for.
But what I was also pleased with the substitution. Albert and you come, then we'll be joined by Alex.
I mean, if it was a one-off decision with Clancy, he's no like that. Like that, you'd say, well, okay, right, we'll give you a 50-50 on that one. But he's got a history of this now. He really has got a history, and it's a long history. It's no like 1 or 2 games. That game on the 29th of last year, I mean, that's going to be the worst refereeing performance I've ever seen in my life, by the way. Honest to God, man, that was ridiculous. In fact, they should make the referees who are doing the training for referees should take that game and use it as a video how not to referee a football game, because that was absolutely ridiculous. By the way, it really was. By the way, you can't believe what happened in that game, and that clown standing there looking at it, no got a clue what to do, no got a clue. I mean, he gave them a penalty, which was iffy, but okay, it was a penalty. He gave them he sent one of your players off, and he also denied us 2 clear penalties for pulling the jerseys. The same thing he gave a penalty for, and he sent one of our players off. And he gave them a goal with a horn ball. I mean, he done everything but put a strip on and try and score for them. I mean, it was unbelievable. and then you get to this stage yesterday, and he's going, well, if I get away with that, I can get away with this. No, this tackle on Morel, I'll get away with that. Don't worry about it. He's sitting there going, I don't care what they think. I'll just do what I want. Because he set us up nicely with his wee comments at the beginning of the season that expect all this paranoia, expect all that. And then if we're going on the new, he's going to sit there and go, I told you it was going to happen. Like, listen to them. You're going, no, you're a con man, mate. That's what you are. You've just tried to con the Scottish public of your incompetence and cheating. That's what you've done.
We'll be joined by Alex. Evening, Alex. How we doing?
Hi, Ox. How you doing, lads?
All right.
Good evening, George Kelly.
Good evening, Alan. Well said, Albert.
How you doing, mate?
For a minute.
On you go, Alex. What's on your mind?
I was just enjoying the chat and everything about the game at the weekend. I wanted to say, is Bridgeman putting a tenner into the swear box tonight?
Bridgeman's on his final Britain morning for the 144th time.
That's at least a tenner he owes you, Ox.
What he'll claim is he was under the influence of drugs because we gave him the drugs to calm him down, and he'll win his case.
It's not like him, but it's good.
Shower of shockers, I'll tell you. Shower of shockers.
You nearly went again there.
Bridgeman, you stop taking the birth control pills. Come on, sending you scatty bananas.
The big tablets he takes, Steradin, innit, Bridge?
Steradin, you're right. You're right. Steradin.
Right, Alex, what's on your mind? Let's park the Kevin Clancy thing and look at our football team on Saturday, Alex. Yes?
Aye, not a problem. I thought we were excellent, and as Port Bear said continually for game to game, this is the first game where we've played the entire 90 minutes. Both halves of football I thought we were brilliant. The substitutions coming on, slotted straight in to the formation that he's got now, and they all done their jobs immaculately. But we Davis was like a maestro on Saturday there. He just controlled the game, the flow of the game from the start to finish. It was brilliant. But every sub come on, Bassey, Arfield, every one of them was fantastic. And again, big Hollander stepping in for Balogun. Just absolute awesome performance again for Big Hollander and Golson. They're rocks at the back, so they are, the two of them. Brilliant.
We'll not call them the Twin Towers.
No. that was a wee slip before, wasn't it?
Aye. We played really well. Albert. We are a good side. We know we're work in progress, but we seem to be improving, getting players in the box, mate.
Oh, absolutely. But I was delighted on Saturday, and that was great football. That really was great football. Finishing, we could have been a bit better, but put that aside. 4 goals and playing like that.
A good game, mate. You've got to be.
Oh, aye. Oh, he definitely did. He definitely had. And by the way, see, after 20 minutes, I'm not a great lover of that 9 sub carry on, but I didn't think 9 subs were going to be enough after 20 minutes. I was going, we're running out of players here.
Aye. We're shout. Some nice stuff at the weekend there, Alan. We played some decent football. We've got to be pleased with it.
I'm absolutely pleased with it. I'm pleased. I like the rhythm that the Rangers had from start to finish. Even like Alex says, once the subs came on, they knew the game plan, they knew how to execute it, and they continued playing the same way Gerrard wanted. And I tell you what, it's only going to get better.
Aye, I've got to say, I'll go to Bridge. Stephen Davis, I don't care what we say, he's one of the finest football players in his generation.
Agreed. 100%.
Yeah. Are you signing a petition for this? Are we going to run this? You run this testimonial, Bridge, will we?
I'll go for that, aye. I'll try it.
You can pick it up.
I think we would want Fox in. Fox is a nicer speaker.
Well, he can collect the money at the gate.
Well, that's true. That's true. We might need a lot more than that, by the way.
Right. Stephen Davis, he deserves every bit of success he gets.
I agree with that. Yeah. Well, it'd be nice to see him at Rangers doing something, and of course, allied with the Northern Ireland team. That'd be fantastic.
I think he deserves something because if he goes on and breaks that cap record, that's what he deserves something for. Dale. Oh, I don't know who's getting the.
Who's whistling?
I don't know, but we poised the phone.
Sorry, guys, that was me. My house phone was going off.
Oh, okay, if that's Kevin Clancy, tell me we're asking for it, all right?
2 phones, Snobby.
Right, Dale, you managed to get off from mute? Go on, Dale. Come on, Dale.
did the wrong one.
Oh. No, there's no ways. Albert, who was your man of the match, mate? We've not really heard much about your football. You've been more talking about the incidents.
Oh, Steve Davis, no doubt about it. I mean, it really breaks my heart that he's the age he is, and I just wish he was 5-6 years younger, by the way, because 55 would be a guarantee if he was, because the guy's a superb football player. There's no doubt about it. It makes that Rangers tick when you get him up the park. I mean, it really does. But he's known he is what he is, and he's still putting in the performances and still picking up man of the match situation. He's an excellent player, really was.
Dale, you with us, mate? You're getting good at this, mate.
Aye. I think what it is now, it's my chin's too big and it keeps hitting the mute button. But what I was going to say was, you know, I think it was the greatest thing about the victory on Saturday was the fact we had to make so many substitutions, and every player that came on, they just carried on the game in the exact same fashion. You know, and that was great to watch. You know, it's like before when you used to see other, you know, some of the subs they were making, you're going, oh, what's he going to do? You know, what's he going to do? But they all just fitted right into the way Rangers were playing, you know, and that's, to me, that's a lot to do with just the way they're training and they're preparing for games, you know, so I really enjoyed that. And there is good news on Brandon Barker. It's not a hamstring, seemingly it's just a hairline fracture. But we'll have to see what happens there, you know.
Boom, boom.
And I don't know what I'm shouting about. I've been bald for I was the same age as him. That's how I like to make jokes.
Do yourself a favour, but I felt a bit sorry for him. I
did feel sorry for him because he played well. He tries, you know, he tries his heart out, and sometimes I think he tries too hard. And now that I think this is about the second or third time he's actually been, you know, coming on to a game, and then he just picks up that injury, you know, maybe just trying a bit too hard. But, you know, we'll see what happens. You know, we've got other players that are obviously out there now, but they'll all come back up. And once Rangers, they'll be back to full strength, you know, and they'll have a great squad to pick from.
Right, lads, get yourself in mute. We're going to hear from your manager on Saturday, so get yourself in mute. We'll hear from your manager, Stephen Gerrard, MBE.
The game in a moment, but let's touch on the injuries. You suffered 3 of them today, well, 4 if you include Balogun. What's the early prognosis in the dressing room?
Well, I'll try and go through them. Leon felt a bit of tightness in the warm-up, so we obviously didn't want to take a risk on that. Phil was ready to come in. I thought he'd done an outstanding job again. Morelos has got a gash in his knee, but it's a deep one. But it's probably the best scenario we could have hoped for, because from the side I'm thinking, you know, is it a cartilage or an injury that could keep him out for a long time? So it's just a gash. He might be available for Thursday. Knowing Alfredo, he'll want to be available. Ryan Jack's got a calf issue. We obviously have to wait to see what the scan shows on that. Was there anyone else? I think
Barker.
I think Barker's was very clear. It's a hamstring injury, so I think he'll be missing for certainly a few weeks. That's normally the case.
Okay, and what did you see, if any, of the tackle on Morelos?
Well, I only obviously got a good view at it now after the game. There's obviously a follow-through there. Now, I don't want to stand here and say that a kid should be sent off. Of course I don't. But what would be interesting if it was the other way around, what the decision would have been.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a similar Ryan Jack. I think I remember against Aberdeen a similar outcome with him being sent off in that one. But there was a few tasty tackles in that one. I think you knew it was going to be the case in this fixture. But what did you make of the overall performance in the 4-0 win?
I think for us, as you say, a lot of things went against us today in terms of injuries. We had to adapt. I've got to give the players a lot of credit. You know, we had to change our shape. Once we went 2-0, I thought there's no reason to stay 4-2-3-1 and be gung-ho. So I wanted to be safe, certainly till half-time. And then we went back to our normal shape that we used a lot last year. And Dundee were giving us the ball back in some good areas. I think 4 flat at Dundee, we could have went on and got a few more goals. I think we were lucky to keep the record. You know, they've hit the bar, and they've had a good shot there at the near post. I thought Dundee stayed at it. I think they were desperate to score that goal and take the record, so you've got to give them credit as well.
Stevie, we said there, and you've already touched on it, we said ourselves it could have been 5, 6, 7, easy.
Is that your frustration then? Because after the Hamilton game, you said the same thing. The amount of chances, some of the football we played today was beautiful and probably deserved a goal.
I think not just on today. I think 4-0's okay. Yeah, we could have scored a few more, so I don't want to be critical today. But I think if you look at us from the beginning of the season to now, if there is one aspect where we can improve, it's to be more clinical, more ruthless. What I would say is we're still waiting for Itten to get up to speed. You know, he's had an injury setback. Kamara Roof hadn't played much before he come in. Alfredo's had his situation. So we're still waiting for our number 9s to really get 100% sharp. When they do.
Does it please you? You've got, because we were talking about they all seem different types. Itten, Roof, Defoe coming back as well from injury, Morelos.
Yeah, well, I think what we've tried to do is learn from where we've gone wrong in the past. Maybe we didn't have enough tools in the final third and enough people lacking, to change it. And maybe we haven't had enough behind us when we've needed it at important times in games. But what will be interesting is if we can keep them all in the door. And if we can get them all up to speed, it'll be interesting.
Stevie, the boys must be over the moon with obviously 7 clean sheets. Yeah, must be happier.
Yeah, I'm pleased for them. I think they're getting rewarded for all the hard work. We've done a lot of organisation work and our distances and our sliding in pre-season. It was nice to have a pre-season where you had that time to work on your shape out of possession. So. Of course, the staff have done ever so well working with them, but the players have actually gone out there and we've got a mentality and an attitude about us where we want to keep the ball out the net. And I think John's played a big part in that, to be fair to him.
He's been good, hasn't
he? He's been very good.
A lot has been spoken about these two holding midfielders. I know we maybe discussed it a wee bit the last time you came on after the game. That must really please you, though, the extra security to allow those two boys. I mean, we were talking about Tavernier's stats before the game are ridiculous.
It's amazing.
1-5 for goals.
As a full-back, it's amazing.
But his deliveries in the high area, Barisic's quality into the box is outstanding. So that must really please you with the two holding midfielders that just allows those guys to get in the good areas.
Yeah, I mean, it's a massive part how we play. We want the full-backs to be really aggressive, really on the front foot. We want them to almost play like wing-backs, but you can't play with attacking midfielders if that's the case. You need the balance behind the ball. If it turns over, you need to have a good shape about it. I thought it was Tav's strongest performance of the season today. I know it was his 250th game. His goals and his assists speak for themselves. And we know what he gives us on a daily basis. He's always available. I think someone told me a stat. He's only missed 3-4 training sessions since he's been at the club.
And something like 17 games, I think, as well, within that 250 in and around it. He's such a consistent performer for you.
He is, and I just hope now that he can go and reward his service that he's given to the club come the end of the season. Be in there when the prizes get given out, because that's what he'll be remembered for.
Sorry, but just one more thing on Kamara. He came on today. I believe that during the week against Republic of Ireland, he was outstanding. You must be pleased, and just from a personal point of view, Steve, and having worked with him, I think he's got so much more to offer. Now, he's not going to turn into a Stevie Gerrard and start bombing and knocking goals into 30 yards, but I think he's got so much to offer as well, hasn't he?
I mean, he's a different type, and I'm not saying it because you're standing with me, but I've said it before. The previous coaches that have worked with Glenn at Arsenal and when he's moved on have done a fantastic job. He's been schooled right. I think he fits into our system like a glove. He could have started today without a shadow of a doubt. He's certainly pushing. I thought he was very good when he come on. And over the course of the season, Glenn Kamara is going to get many appearances.
Yeah, a wee bit more advanced today. Was that?
Yeah, I think that's confidence maybe from the midweek. Look, even if we play a 2 at the right time, we don't mind one going to join in, whether that be Arfield, Jack or Kamara. But for me, Glenn can do anything out there. He's so comfortable as a 6, in a 3, in a 2. He's so intelligent. He takes the message, and as I say, he's pushing to be in the 11 for sure.
And I know, Stephen, just a final point, that you're still keen to add another face or two perhaps to your squad. Will these injuries accelerate any of that, or will it still continue in the path you were going to take anyway?
Look, I've made it, I can't be any more clear with Ross and the board in terms of what we need. They know that. I don't think I have to go public and say that, but yes, we certainly do. In the engine room, we need one at least. To help us over the course. We know we're expected again to qualify in Europe and play every Thursday, every Sunday. You can't do that unless you've got the right numbers, and we're one short of midfield.
Well, I hope everybody's back. You're back, lads, yeah?
Hello.
Yep. Come on,
Back,
Dale. Come on, Dale.
Present, sir.
Yep. Take you off.
Sorry, I pressed the button.
Oh, Dale,
The button.
I'm so proud of you, mate. I'm so
Dale
proud
knows
of
what
you.
he's doing.
Oh,
Dale
I know.
knows what he's
I've been
doing.
studying.
Listen, Dale, if you don't get it sorted, I'll send Bridge you and he can show you every day, all right?
Is that the guy that swears too much? No, we don't have any swearing in my house.
You might have to teach him some decent languages.
I have a problem.
I tell you.
Oh, that's all right. So they are. I'm surprised I've kept it clean, honestly, because obviously where I come from and all the rest of it, every second word is that word. So
every time Rangers play
I've got to
again
say, I
and they
thought
play
Bishop
against
Briggs was posh.
every time we play
no
a game at Ibrox and Clancy's the referee, Oxter always corners me and forces me to answer questions, particularly about Clancy, and he just rips my knitting, the guy. And it
To
just
me or Kevin?
no, Clancy.
he dropped a couple of stitches there.
I know,
for sure.
Shocking.
I'll tell you what, if Bridge could get on him, we need a couple of stitches.
I know. Oh my God.
Right, okay,
was
so
bad.
listen, how refreshing is it to see your manager? And I know people might see it differently, but look, he comes out there, he says his piece, basically said, I've just seen it again, it was a red card, and what would have happened if it was the other way around? He's no laboured the point, he's just made it quickly and he moves on to our team. I think it's refreshing, that certain individuals in Scottish football who want to kill the game. I'm going to pick my person to answer this first. Albert.
Of course, the guy's class. No, I mean, he has to say something, and I'm glad he did say something. But as you say, he didn't labour it. He just gets to the point, makes his point, moves on. And that's enough for the manager to say. But I definitely think the club should say something about it as well, because it's getting to a ridiculous stage. But the guy just shows class. He really does show class. And by the way, we won 4-0. We played brilliant, and he should be concentrating on that. He wants to talk about the positives all the time, and rightly so. Our job is to pull it apart, the other bits of the game. No, I mean that's what we're here to do. But absolute class.
Gary, then Alan.
I totally agree. That's not the first time he said they come out and say like, well, I'm not letting anybody sent off or that, but look, and he says his piece when he's asked, and then he just moves quickly on to about the team, and he handles the media really well. I think Stephen Gerrard actually, I think he handles it better than what they would actually think. But fair play to him, like he's class with the media. He's a class. I could sit and listen to Gerrard talking all day actually, but it'd probably be insulting to him if he didn't say. Again, he has to say he's the manager, and he should. So fair play to him. I respect that about him, like.
Alan?
What I liked about that interview, first and foremost, is Gerrard was so cool, calm and relaxed. And it was almost like a wee cheeky point. He just fired in and moved on quickly. Just something for everybody to think about. But he touched upon Kamara. I mean, there's a guy who went away, played for a proper international team, came back and still went on the pitch and done his business. I tell you what, I could listen to TV Gerrard's interviews all day. He's absolutely fantastic, brilliant at coming across. Good times ahead.
Hope so. Dale?
Well, all I can say is, can you imagine that was wee Pedro, trying to talk his way out of that one, for a bush somewhere. But
platform.
No, Stevie G's class. There's no doubt about it. And the way I look at it as well, he's had a couple of years at Rangers, but thinking where we've came and how much he's added, to Rangers' quality and all the rest of it, and I know it's usually considered a short-term job, but this guy, I would have him every day of the week, every year. You know what I'm saying? Because he's getting it down, he's learning, and as I say, I love watching him on the telly. That's the first thing I'll click on is when there's a wee interview coming up or something, because he knows the game inside out, and he knows what he wants.
I think he's honest, Dale, as well, if I'm being honest.
Oh, perfectly honest, yeah. Maybe sometimes a wee bit too honest.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's where his emotions will get to him. But no, definitely. I mean, he talks sense, out of most of them in the whole league. It's just great to have him as a manager. As far as I'm concerned, I couldn't have been more pleased.
Alex?
I agree with the guys, Ox. The thing that I love about Gerrard is he's been schooled with Liverpool in England, didn't he? So he knows how to deal with the media. He's brilliant in his press conferences. Any questions that he doesn't want to answer, he just bats them away, shuts the guys down right away, and feels, it puts them down to a level that they don't want to be at. But he's brilliant at just putting in his wee bit. He makes his point and moves on. And for then you've basically had a implosion in the media with Michael Stewart going off his nut, and then Radio Snide going off their nuts about picking up on this. Why did they say that? So Gerrard will be sitting back laughing at this and at their reaction, which is absolutely brilliant. So we just need to see if the compliance officer is going to do anything about it. But see if she doesn't, I would love the club to come out and say, no, you really need to look at this now because this is really getting beyond the joke. But Gerrard's fantastic. Everything that he says and does, he's played the game obviously at the highest level. He knew there was intent there. It wasn't just a matter of fact the Dundee United boy clearing the ball. He left that fit in deliberately. So he knew he meant to injure Alfie on that occasion.
I hope no, mate. I hope no. Yeah. And only that boy will know, but I hope no. Because that's a whole different challenge. But Bridgeman?
Yeah, I love the manager. He's absolutely superb. And I never heard, I heard what he said regarding a little bit if it was in other words, if the shoe was near a foot. We all believe sincerely, I'm sure we do, that most assuredly Morelos would have been booked, at least, and probably sent off. But Morelos wouldn't have left that mark on him, right? But if Morelos had done a wee bit of that, he'd have been sent off by Clancy straight away. I mean, he was trying to send Borna Barisic off because he was saying something. Yeah, they should put a big show on pulling the players away and all that nonsense. He should have been saying, hey, where's that player that done this? What's happening? Nah. Our manager, fantastic manager. And as long as he keeps it going for us and keeps the boys ticking over, because we need to be ticking over. Huge match on Thursday. Mm-hmm. Come on, Steven Gerrard. Keep it going for us.
All right. Albert, we're bringing players in and out of the team. I think he's picked up that we can't get through the season with 13 players. We need legs in key areas. We've got 4 or 5 central defenders we touched about on earlier. We've got 2 decent goalkeepers competing. We'll get strikers up the top of the park. We did have abundance of wingers, but now we're a wee bit short in that department in the legs of the wide men. We definitely need another body in midfield. We'll not get through the season without injuries and suspension, so he knows that. They've got a plan, they've got a vision, and they're trying to implement it, and we can see the improvement there.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. And he knows exactly what he wants. I mean, that Wilson knows exactly what he wants as well. I think the two of them are the same mind, you know what I mean? But the team's improving all the time. It's evolving and improving all the time. And you can see exactly what he's talking about, what we need. We all know it. We see it. Everybody sees it. And if he gets what he wants, I'm telling you, that team will go in and be special. It's got the potential there to be something really special.
You've been saying that for a while, mate. So what's the missing pieces for you, mate, of the jigsaw?
It's a solid midfield, mate. It's that invincibility in midfield, or that feeling of when you go into a part that we're not getting beat. They're not beating us today. You know what I mean? Or it doesn't matter if they score first or whoever scores again. We're going to win this game. That back in the 1990s team, that sort of that. I don't know about you, but when we walked on the park, I never thought we were ever going to get beat. Okay, we did get beaten some games, but you never felt it with this team. You don't feel it, but you go, you're waiting for the mistake, you're waiting for something. Whereas before, that didn't matter, that mistake, because we knew that team had the ability to win any game against anybody. So we need to get that midfield in that sort of vein, that sort of invincibility, solid, hard to get through, brilliant going forward. I mean, don't get me wrong, most teams in the world are looking for a midfield like that, but it's not impossible. I think we're one, possibly 2 players away from that. And we might have them at the club at the moment, but they're just no far along in their careers and their development yet to actually get a full-time place in the team.
All right, well said, mate. Alex?
I am off mute. I agree a lot with Albert there, but I just think that the style of football's evolved away from that thing now that he's talking about. You don't really see a hard man tackler anymore. It's just it's a different game that you play now. It's like your defensive midfielder, you call them now. You know, it's the referees don't allow you to go about, you know, like kicking the way Terry Hurlock used to do. You just don't allow that. You don't see that in football very much now. Just that the style of football right across Europe has evolved so much that, you know, the forward line defend a lot deeper than what they used to, because you used to have, like, say, McCoist and Haitley up front, just roaming round about the 25-yard, 18-yard box. You know, they don't really come back. You see the forward line coming back now to try and press to win the ball. So everybody hunts in packs. But I just like what I'm seeing now. I mean, even when Morelos went on there, he was obviously the focal point. I thought Alfie was playing brilliant, but what it allowed today is Roof and Hadji to kind of, Kent to swap wings. And United didn't know what to do with it. They didn't know how to pick them up, who was picking them up. And Hadji, I thought, you know, he was a kind of unsung hero. He played some smashing through balls, particularly for the first goal with Kent, and it's just all looking good. And you've got guys there on the sideline that are desperate to make an impression. There now. I mean, you've still got Jordan Jones and you've got young boy Middleton as well. I don't know whether they'll be utilised this season or not, but it's
Whether
looking
they'll
good.
still be the club.
It's definitely looking good.
Whether they'll still be the club at the end of the transfer window remains to be seen. So you mentioned the pass by Ryan Kent, which made the first goal. Lovely nutmeg. And any other game, that would have been pass of the game for me. But Stephen Davis, I don't hang on about him too much, but he played a pass with outside his left foot deal. I think it was his left, might have been his right. Outside his right, like a pitching wedge. In the first half was absolutely sublime. Which is a great when Hadji makes that pass and that's no pass of the game, your team's played well.
Oh, definitely. Davis, I think what Rangers are looking at because of Davis's age, and I think he's only on a 1 year, you know, contract now. You know, that's he's got to be close to 35, and they're looking for some kind of replacement for him. But the new role that Davis is playing now, you know, probably because of his age, he's brilliant. I mean, I don't know how they're going to replace that kind of player, you know, anytime soon. It'd have to be a real gem. Just watching him, he was always involved. I always saw that number 10 when I was watching the game at the weekend there. Just that number 10. And he just makes that pass and then he just stops running. And he, you know, walks about, starts running again, then he makes an R pass. The guy, he was pure sublime. He definitely deserved the man of the match of the weekend.
For me, it wasn't. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say here. Well said. I think the way Stephen Davis is, marshalling the midfield, it's making the job easier for the defensive side of the game and the defenders themselves, particularly the centre halves. It's really good because they're mixing in with each other and they're doing the business. And I think when you get players who are on form like Goldson, ably assisted by someone, to me, is top quality. Helander, absolutely top quality. Came out and played an absolute brilliant game in the weekend there. And Stephen Davis was still the playmaker, still the man that was doing most of the things right, and great stuff. And I think deservedly, for me anyway, man of the match. Marvellous. Although if I had my way, given the limited time that Arfield was on, maybe 25 minutes, half an hour, I thought he had a fantastic half hour, roughly. Superb. I'd have gave it to him if he'd been on longer. Stephen Davis magic. Stephen Davis was magic.
Minutes per game, maybe Arfield had the biggest influence, but he was known for the start. I get where you're coming from there. You were coming in there, I think, Gary, were you?
It was just about Davis again there. It wasn't he, although his passing was quality, on Saturday. It was the way he was closing down Dundee United players. He was getting just basically torn about them. He wasn't getting any time on the ball. And it just looked, kind of looked okay the last couple of weeks of saying, oh, he's fast it and that. But the way he was getting in about Dundee United, I just thought that I had to give him man of the match. His passing was amazing, but the way he was just closing players down, that was like Stephen Davis of old. And long may it continue. Again, he's at the wrong age, but he'll do a good job this season if he keeps that form anyway.
Aye, but I think I've got to Alan with this. I've got to be careful with him. I've got to maybe wrap him in cotton wool. Would you play him on Thursday? I don't know if I would.
Well, if it was me, I wouldn't play him on Thursday. I'd give him his wee rest, but I was very critical of Steve Davis coming into this season. I thought his legs had gone, but he's definitely proved me wrong. Definitely proved me wrong. I mean, he doesn't need to run too much. He can just put his foot in the ball, make that pass. And some of those passes against Dundee United were the telling passes. I thought he had a fantastic game. As I said about the man of the match, I couldn't separate Davis or Kent. Excuse me, guys. But the both of them, Davis, I mean, I was critical, to be honest. I thought his legs were gone. But they proved me wrong. There's more to running. You make the ball, make the move. You make the ball, make the running. But I tell you what, I am still excited about what's coming. I'm really excited.
Bridgeman, I think the thing is, and we've all done it, we've maybe been critical of players. When Stephen Davis is age, the first time he's a bad game, but lost his legs have went in, myself included.
There is a tendency to do that anyway when players get on. Although we thought this a couple of months ago, that was commented on like that. And you look at him now, he's had quite a long break and a rest, and he's playing really well at international level and club level at the moment. So let's hope it continues for him, because I think he's a smashing wee player, and he deserves to. Well, I'm hoping he deserves to play for Rangers until at least the end of this season. I'd be happy with that.
Can I change the subject for 2 seconds, mate?
Yes, you can. You're welcome, Albert.
Has anybody else gets on their tits with this Rangers TV camera?
Oh, atrocious, mate. They're showing you the crowd. They're showing you people sitting, getting injured, and they're not showing you the game.
Aye, you ever notice, Ox, that if a commentator or a pundit mentions a name, the camera goes on and gives you a close-up?
Aye.
It's really, really annoying. And the game's going on, you're saying, is anybody else, apart from me, is any of the other crew getting fed up with this, man? Who do we complain to? Because I can't put up with this much longer. I'm thinking of chucking watching that Rangers TV because of it.
What they've done, I mean, we'll see what we can do, but we'll maybe get a message out there. But it was, for instance, they showed you the boy who ran in behind the goal and got injured. They padded on him. The game was taking place.
I know, the game was on, you're going like that. All right, you might make sure the boy's all right. I understand that, right? A couple of seconds, right? Boy's all right, back on to the... No, we're sitting watching a guy getting treatment. And I'm saying, what are we doing here now? And then we're up to Stephen Gerrard's nose or the manager's nose, or we're in the stand with Aribo, or we're looking at the flags all sitting in the stands. We're doing everything but watch the game. And I'm saying, whoever's running that camera or the directorship, whoever it is, by the way, is not a football fan. There might even be a Tim, because I'm telling you right now, there's some sabotage going on.
I think it was Gerard. My understanding, if you've seen the credits, it came up, it was a Gerard Clancy.
with the crowd being cardboard cutters. With the crowd being cardboard cutters, do you think the cameraman's one?
It really is annoying, isn't it? It really is annoying. Is it just me, or is it just super critical?
I'm going to say I was in your court. I mentioned it on Saturday, and all, Albert.
I agree with you, Albert. I agree with you, pal. It's very poor camera work.
Everything else is brilliant. The commentary...
It's the producing.
Whatever it is it's doing, the cameras are staying somewhere off the park and the game's going on and we're not seeing it.
The cameraman's a cardboard cutting it.
I think you got a better performance with a cardboard cutout.
I bet if you go into that park with a camera and take a picture of the cameraman, he's just a cutout sitting there.
He must be taking directions. Obviously, he must, because he can't be doing that off his own back, because he'd get sacked for that. Because you're there to film or show a football game, and you're doing everything but show the football game.
As much as I as much as I love John Gregg, I want to see the match.
Exactly. I mean, there is times to show these shots when there's no play, the boys out or something else. No, what I mean, or somebody's getting treated on the park with an injury or something like that. Aye, okay, go and show Aribo and all the rest of it, what John Gregg or whoever you want to show. But not when the game's going on. It's really, and close-ups on the park, that really annoys me, I know, when the game's going on or not. The guy makes a pass, like Hadji will make a pass. Next time we've got a close-up of Hadji, you're going, the ball's away, mate. Follow the ball. Nobody ever tell you. He can't be a football fan. Right like that, as I say, he's got other allegiances to somewhere else, because obviously he's not been at a football match before, because it's like a new toy. It really is.
Or maybe Clancy's instructed
Yes,
him
Alex.
to
Yes,
point
Alex.
the camera somewhere different.
Yes, Alex.
I was just wanting to point a note as well. I don't know if Jimmy Bell's been in Gerrard's ear, but I don't know if you noticed in his post-match interview, and even in the run-up to Saturday's game, did you notice how many times he called him Dundee instead of Dundee United?
I did
That
notice
would annoy me. I thought that was brilliant, mischievous with Gerrard.
Your manager wouldn't do that.
No.
Yes, Alberg, you weren't alone, and I don't think, according to social media, I don't think you were alone, so hopefully they'll learn from it.
There's got to be somebody's got to complain. It's but the 1782 or whatever, or 1872, they need to complain. Somebody needs to complain about this, because it's not
I
right.
think they've got enough problems in their own at the moment, mate.
Ah, well, I heard that.
Aye. Mm-hmm.
What's going on with them then, Oxford, do you know?
You can read as well as I can.
Yeah, just see people resigning.
Mm-hmm. Right, aye, Albert. Correct.
Sorry for
Good
changing
point.
the subject.
No, it's all right, mate. Right, so what did we rate the game out of 10 on Saturday? Bridgeman.
Oh, I'll give it 8.5. Marvellous. Marvellous for us. Great. But I'm only talking for Rangers. The way
Yes,
the
of
Rangers
course.
played in the game. 8.5.
Alex?
Well, I rated the Kilmarnock game a few weeks ago as an 8.5. But I think I overestimated that. I think that was definitely an 8.5 on Saturday.
That's the trouble when you give high marks. You've nowhere to go, have you?
I know.
You've learned a valuable lesson. Albert?
Well, I keep it low because I'm expecting a lot for this team. I really lot. So I give it a 7, mate. I'm expecting this team to be really special.
Mm-hmm. All right, okay. Gary? And then Alan.
I'm the exact same. I give it an 8.5 against Kilmarnock. I'm going to have to stick to it again. I can't go any lower. So I'm going to go for an 8.5 as well. But some team is going to we're going to probably take 10 off somebody this season when we start taking all our chances. We can't be too critical, 4-0. But there's a lot more in that team, so that's where I am with it.
All right. Alan?
I'll
And
get
then
a
Dale.
7.5. I'll get a 7.5. I would have gave it an 8 if the cameraman's performance was better.
Dale?
No, I would have given it an 8. The only way it wasn't any higher than that was because they got close a couple of times. But apart from that, aye, brilliant. You know, just keep playing.
I'm in the Albert camp. 7 for me. Could have scored more goals and the opposition was the greatest. 7. Well, Bridgeman, we've reached that time of the evening, but before you go and tell everybody good night, Bridge, just want to let people know tomorrow night we'll be joined by a guy that's played in several league-winning teams. Arguably one of our greatest ever teams. We'll be joined by Dave McPherson.
Wow.
What about you,
excellent.
Bridge?
Oh, thank you. I'm
What
looking
about
forward to tomorrow night already. Can I just say what another marvellous night, marvellous discussions and great contributions from everybody. Come on, marvellous. Really enjoyed it. Can I just say to all the Rangers fans all over the world, in particular Rangers fans on here on Rangers Radio, every single one of us, great result for our team. Still a nice clean sheet, so we're breaking records. God knows what we're going to do next. Keep it going for the Rangers, everybody. Please, keep it going because the Rangers need us.
Can I thank Albert, Gary and Alan for joining us on the phone, and Davey, Big Davey at the start of the show, Denver Bear, and of course Stardog, who had technical difficulties and should be back with his ASAP once he's got it all sorted. We've also, thanks to Alex thanks to Dale, and of course, thanks to Bridgeman. This has been Rangers Radio, as we said. We'll be back tomorrow night. We'll be joined by Dave McPherson. Thanks for listening. Take it away, Fox and Old School Blue.
Rangers, Rangers, easy, okay. Look out, everyone, we're on our way. Football is the game that we play all over the world. Rangers, Rangers, easy, okay. Look out, everyone, we're on our way. We can show the world how to play, for we are Rangers, okay. Won't you come and cheer us? Help the boys along. White and blue, coming through with a song. Oh, Rangers, Rangers, easy, okay. Look out, everyone, we're on our way. Football is the game that we play all over the world. Rangers, Rangers, easy, okay. Look out, everyone, we're on our way. We can show the world how to play, for we are Rangers, okay. We'll be there to do it. Go Rangers, do it if we can. Go Rangers, win the cup, hold it up in our hand. Oh, Rangers, Rangers, easy, okay. Look out, everyone, we're on our way. Football is the game that we play all over the world. Rangers, Rangers, easy, okay. Look out, everyone, we're on our way. We can show the world how to play, for we are Rangers, okay.